Part 2. This is part 2 now. Oh, that's a real Western. That's just what Ben Johnson said to me after he heard my recitation on that. He said, "Oh, that's a..." I think he did a chin tweaker. He said, "No, that's a real Western." And it made me feel good. I didn't quite know what he meant by that, but anyways, here we go. Part 2. Hank WEENA, reader tonight. Now we jump to something else. Hey, what's your name? Asked Big Jack Elam. Well, he'd have to go like, "What's your name?" Something like that. Did you know that Jack Elam was he was a bank teller, and he's like a brilliant mathematician, and he took a shine to me. He wanted to take me down, and he wanted to take me down to the Hyatt and play poker, but now anybody that doesn't know Ben Johnson and Jack Elam knows nothing about a good Western, what the term came to be a good odor. Hey, let's go see a good odor tonight. O-A-T-E-R, odor, you know, horses eat oats, you know. I didn't bore Ben with praise of his performances with John Wayne, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, or in One-Eyed Jacks with Marlon Brando. "You scum-sucking pig, I'm gonna blow your arms off." Remember that in One-Eyed Jacks when he was, that's his style of, being conversant with his fellow man. Not to mention Shane, starring Alan Ladd. I wanted to, remember Ben Johnson and Shane? He got into the fight with Shane at the bar initially, and Shane beat the crap out of him. Choo. And, Ben Johnson leaning back, sitting on the floor with his head against the bar, going, "Oh, Mamma Mia!" You know, that Alan Ladd sure has got a hell of a punch. And then I forget his name in the film, but he tipped off Shane at the end that there was going to be a stacked deck against Static. You know, remember with Jack Palance and looking in straight of the Jack Schaefer story, looking Mark Stevens, of course, director, Victor Young, the composer. You know, the composer to Shane. How'd it go? Dee 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 dee. No, I think I'm getting into something else. Well, anyways, great music score. Bartender, okay, my advice. I got, in the old days, I listened to the customers. So, when, Ben Johnson didn't drink. Jack Elam did. In fact, I made him breakfast every morning. It was worked the graveyard shift. I mentioned between the years in Tahoe, 75 to 2000, I was a bartender, and I filled that in with the teaching, and I don't know what filled what in. For instance, taught school in the day, bartended at night, a heavy schedule. And then this was all but I lived on the North Shore from 75 to 2000. But I did teach at South Lake Tahoe Community College, high school, college teacher, English 101, that kind of thing. But of course, with the emphasis on the third eye, that was my approach to higher education. Take it for what it's worth. Some people hated that. Well, what can I tell you? So this is the old days about the guy would come slam his fist on the bar. My wife would always be either drunk or smoked, and she's always cheating on me and or about to. And then she's always cheating me or about to, or I would add, or just had been. Back in those days, how it was, So So the advice of the bartender would be, shoot her! And the customer, guy goes, I tried that last week, but I just caught her in there, a little bit in the arm. Concentrate when you're shooting her. All right. And another complaint. I sent my kid off to back east to college, cost thousands, and boy, and all he does is mess around, going to parties, and going on a free ride. And the old bartender would say, go like, think for a second, shoot him. The guy goes, that's a thought. But I thought I was a good bartender. I made good drinks. I was punctual. I somewhat liked. I like to cook for people, make them a good drink. My Sunday Bloody Mary I called the Jungle Mary. I'm not going to give you the recipe for that because it's owned by me. But then Jack Allen would shoot out at 4 in the morning. Hey, Henry. Yep. Yes, sir, Jack. Can you fix me breakfast? And he went like this, as if he was pointing to going out to the John Anderson place, the Ponderosa. It's just on the route as you're skipping out of incline. It's a nice ride. Going down the road to hugs the lake on the west side, and it's just go round and round. You can smell that pine, and sometimes in the times of the year, and the brightness of the sun in the waters, and the clean air. You take a deep breath, roll down with both windows, roll down. You're waving at people, and you're going. That's what Todd Ober in his famous classical guitar composition of peace titled it "Romance de los Pinos," the romance of the pine trees. Yep. Anyways, you guys really, man, and I go, wow, okay, so the breakfast was like a double yoker, but this was 2 triple Stoli OJs. And that was slammed down there on the bar. Hey, go, Jack! And he goes, thank you, Andy, make a good breakfast. And then these guys were up at 4 in the morning, because my shift was 2 in the morning to 10, the graveyard shift. I hated that. Oh, I hated that shift. You wouldn't believe. I just, if nothing else, remember this about Hank Jakes. He hates working graveyard. It's just one of those things. What am I, asleep? Or what am I, dreaming I'm awake? Or am I awake dreaming I'm asleep? What the hell is going on? Hey, watch out. You just bumped into the wall, Hank. Oh, jeez, I gotta get to bed or something. All right. Now, this film crew that he was with, whew, man, I've never seen anybody drink so much. One of the girls, I don't know who she was. She was a movie star from somewhere, Denmark or something. I see her waving at me as she's going by on a stretcher with the EMT. I mean, she's waving at me, and I'm going, what the heck happened to her? The other people, the other movie said, oh, she's having a good time. Having a good time. Wow. Now, here we go. Some wanted straight shots of Jaeger. Some were out on the deck, smooching or whatnot. Some were just drinking coffee. Each had a special way and an idea of cranking the engine for a day's filming. Just thinking back to those days, it's just wonderful. Those you know, Clint Eastwood in 1977 at the Hyatt Celebrity Tennis Tournament, when they hired over to a movie crew and they changed it to Nomad Lake Tahoe, where they filmed the Quincy, and I waited on Jack Klugman at the bar, and he said, "Give me a vodka tonic." Vodka tonic. Okay, Jack. How you doing? Then he looked up and says, what's the score? I said, something or something or other. And he said, oh, okay. And he was a nice guy. Left me a nice little tip. And then, who else there? And, Wonder Woman. It was in the Speedy Garfin band. Before she had her own show. Fill me in on her name. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. But and then, of course, as I mentioned in part one, I mentioned Rifleman, Chuck Connors. Met so many stars there in Vegas. It was fun. A New England kid like me from Boston, dreaming about westerns, seeing the westerns way back when, all through the years, and all of a sudden I felt when I was talking to Ben Johnson, I was in the western. Kind of was. I was out west, so I was talking to Ben Johnson. Anyways, I get a lot of joy out of that, but it's 75 to 2000. But the point about what made Ben Johnson say that's a real western was when I told him I left Tahoe in '80 and shot up to Idaho on a 3-year teaching job at Chalice, Idaho. And I was told that's where they had the '83 earthquake, 7.2. A couple of students got buried. 7.2 earthquake. Wow, that was a powerful thing. And then the next month it was 40 below. But they said, yeah, you go up to the Ram's Horn Ranch and you were talking about Zane Grey? I said, yeah. I said, and Ben, Zane Grey rode Thunder Mountain in that cabin, and I filmed it that day. I filmed it, I had the camera, and I filmed it. It was a snowstorm, and there was nothing much going on in my head. Wow, it was just all kinds of stuff about, and then Ben Johnson goes, now that's a real western. I'm not quite sure what he meant by that, but I'm sure it must have been said it. He did. It's got to be a wonderful thing. Okay, saddle up and ride, boys. Saddle up and ride, you lonesome cowboy. Well, I see lights that shine in my dreams, lights that bright.